keep me grounded as I reach higher than I see. Is there something there for me? Pulling back the reins, letting go again. I'm not afraid.
Hey everyone, it's Skyee here, and welcome to part 4 of our color along from Mythical Maidens and Curious Creatures by Hannah Lynn. I cannot believe we're on part 4 already. I'm so excited. So, we've been working on Faryn, and this is what we have done so far. I cannot wait to finish her. I really wish that my camera would show this how I see it. Okay. So, we may have gone a little bit crazy with our time in the last few color alongs, because I don't think the rest of the stuff will take 2 hours, which means it probably will because I'm usually wrong. But on the plus side, we'll at least make sure we have it done in 5 parts. So let's dive on in here. Gonna zoom in about that much. And we're gonna work on the leaves of the tree first. Yeah. So, start with the sepia, which we're gonna want a fairly sharp tip on because we don't really have too much room here to work. There's a lot of detail already. So, first thing I'm gonna do is pop in a shadow all the way along this thing here, because I believe this bunch of leaves is in behind this bunch. So you want to kind of send these ones to the background. So just go in along that side and then kind of fade it out. And then we're going to do the same with these other areas as well, kind of under this one. So I'm going fairly firm right under, kind of like a medium pressure. And then fading it out fairly quick. Let's add a little bit here. Maybe some kind of here too. I've kind of come back to this page a couple times now to film this, but I couldn't figure out the colors. Hopefully I picked some good ones though. Let's go back in and darken up this area a little bit. Okay. So we'll kind of do one section at a time, might as well. So we're going to come in with the Prussian green. Actually, let's come back in with the sepia a little bit here. Let's just kind of outline the bottoms of these shapes. I'm not pushing really hard, kind of like a light medium pressure. I just want to pop enough color in here to create a shadow underneath it. I can go in a little bit darker under the ones that we already have the sepia over. Okay. Now let's switch to our Prussian green. I'm going to bring this out from the sepia a little ways. I'm going to try my best to kind of keep the top part of these little V's white for now. But it's okay if we color over them. We don't want them all to be the same anyways, so. Okay, and then we're going to bring this color over top of the sepia under these little V's as well. We'll kind of bring it out a little bit in some areas. We'll kind of make it random, so some areas won't have too much of it, other areas will bring it down quite a ways. Add some variation. Kind of like that. Come in with our next color, which is the olive green, which is actually really similar. So I'm not going to put too much of this in here. I'm just going to go over some of these areas where there's a little too much white and then kind of block them down a little bit. So I think anywhere that's white is going to be our lightest color, so we don't want too much. Go over this area too. Okay, and the last color that we have for this one is the lime peel. I'm just going to start off lightly because I'm not sure if I want to keep this as is or come back in and darken it up. So we're just going to kind of lightly go over everything. See what it looks like and then we'll decide from there. Okay. I do like it. I do think I want it a little bit darker. So I'm going to come in with the olive green. I'm going to darken up these shadows a bit more using a really heavy pressure and then fading it out as always. And then we can come back in with the lime peel and pretty much finish burnishing that. I'm going to put a sharper point on it though. I'm gonna leave some of these top bits as is. It's just gonna be like a really light wash of the lime peel, and then for the most part I'm gonna darken up around them. Some of them I'm just going to completely color over. It gives us a little bit of variation so they don't all look the same. Kind of liking the lighter look of some of them. I think I am actually really happy with the colors. I can decide whether to keep it to like a really natural green like this or go a little bit brighter. I want her to stand out the most, but I want the background to be really pretty as well. So it's kind of always tough picking colors to kind of complement but not override. And then we're just going to continue following those exact same steps for all the leaves. It's going to be very redundant, so I probably won't talk through all of it because I'm just going to be repeating myself. Down here as well, and I think I want to shade along this branch as well here. I'll put that a little bit in shadow. I think for the second version of this page, I might have to do like a fantasy type look to it and have this tree in like unnatural colors, because I don't know, part of me wanted to color the leaves like blue, but I don't think that would have worked with our picture here, trying to keep it a little bit more on the realistic side. And if we would have colored it blue, I think it would have made it more of the focal point than her. So I think for my second version I might do that. If I ever color it again, we'll see. I like the idea of having a second version in case like you mess up, or it just makes it a lot easier to dive into your favorite pictures because you know that you have another one to color if you need to. but I very rarely ever use the second one. I think the only image I have actually colored twice was our partridge in the pear tree, and that was just because so many of you wanted a tutorial on how I colored the first one, and even then I had to make it different, so we did similar colors. Okay, so there is our base of the sepia, which we might add to, maybe not, we'll see. So now let's start going in with our Prussian green. So again, we're going to go over the sepia. And we'll maybe just bring it out in some areas. Others we'll just kind of leave it as is. Doesn't have to be exact. You can just wing it and be messy and carefree with it. I'm using a fairly firm pressure here as well. And then just trying to fade it out a little bit to make it easy to blend. Although our olive green will blend into this one very, very nicely. They're very similar colors. Almost too similar, but I do like the way that they kind of work together, so. Yeah, you guys haven't even been able to see what I'm doing. I'm sorry. I don't know why I keep moving this. We've got everything in frame. I apologize. I'm so used to using my other phone to record still. kitty at the door. Since Miss Lilo's already in here, I'd say it's Mr. Stitch. Baby boy. Do you need water or do you have some? You need some. Okay, 1 second. There you go. Cutie. Okay. Whew, we're getting somewhere. It's now in with the olive green. Same as before. I'm kind of bring this over top and out of our other shadow colors. But now we also know that we don't want quite so much white peeking through, so I'm going to expand it down quite a bit. Almost forgot about this little bit behind her hair here. Let's grab our sepia to add some of that in there. Are you sure you didn't stick around, Mom? Go on. Probably would stick around except Lilo's in his spot, or what he deems to be his spot. This back area is going to be pretty dark. I actually think I want to darken it up a little bit more. Let's grab our sepia. I'm just going to go over the very bottom and along the side a little bit more with this. So next we're going to come in with our lime peel. Not very heavy at first. Our first layer is just going to be super light going over everything. I shouldn't say super light, but more of like a medium pressure. That's not my recording phone buzzing. I do apologize if it is and if it's loud. It shouldn't be. I'm pretty sure I have it on silent, but I'm not sure. Okay, so now that we got that, now we can come back in a little bit heavier handed. Again, mostly on the darker areas. And then we're just going to pick some of these little triangle bits to kind of go over a little bit darker. But we want to keep some light. Forget a bit in behind her hair there. It's always amazing to see how much just adding a darker layer of this really changes the colors. And then you're just going to keep going over these areas and just adding more until you're happy with it. And this one here, I'm just going to color in completely. Just want to keep that one dark. Same with this one here. Just going to color that in completely. Okay. So at that done, let's just throw these colors in here. Okay, so next we're going to work on these little flowers here. There's only 3 of them, so they shouldn't take too long. Okay, so starting with the cobalt turquoise. Just pop a little bit of color in here. Just kind of like that. Let's pop a little bit on the left side of this leaf here and fade it out. Left side down here, fade it out. And then I believe this is part of the leaf as well, so let's go on the right side, fade it out. And then we'll just kind of add a little bit along the left side of the stem here too, if we can. Okay, left side of this one, fade it out. Right side of this one, fade it out. A little bit shadow in by the hoof and a little bit in at the top, and we'll leave that one like that. Okay, this one, let's do left side and left side. And again, we'll kind of do the same thing. We'll do a little bit at the top, a little bit at the bottom. So we don't really have too much room to kind of go along the sides of those. Okay, next color is light aqua, which mine is definitely not sharp enough for where I need it. We're going to go in over top of the cobalt turquoise, not completely burnishing it, just enough to blend in the color, and then we're going to fade it out slightly, leaving a little sliver for the lightest color. We're just going to do that pretty much for all of these flowers. And then the ones that have the top and bottom, of course, we're just going to leave like a little sliver in the middle. Okay, and lastly, we're going to come in with the pale sage, and this we're going to start on the lighter areas and just work it over everything. And that should give us more of a greener tone while keeping the blues in there. There we go. Those are pretty. Okay, now for the actual flower part. I should just move this here so I don't gotta reach all the time. So none of my pencils are ever sharpened because I don't keep them sharp. Okay. So now for the actual flower bits. So starting off with the black grape. I'm going to start on either side of this middle petal here. Just going to bring up one more. And maybe two there, so we'll make it look like that. I'm gonna do the same thing on these ones. Just like that. That is it for the black grape. And we're going to come in with the lavender, which again needs to be sharpened. Okay. We're going to try and bring this out and kind of over top of the black grape, and we're going to try and keep little slivers for our third color. It's okay if we don't though. Third color is more to lighten it up anyways, but and then our last color is the white. And we're going to bring that in as well, and we're just going to go in the same kind of basically the same way, like alongside these. So we're not going to go like this, they're going to go up and down. I can't think of the word I'm trying to think of. Okay, and that'll soften those up, which I was hoping would kind of make them match the ones up here, and they kind of do, so that works. These are some pretty flowers. Okay, let's see. So we're at 40 minutes. So we've got about 20 minutes left. Just trying to decide what else I want to do. We're either going to actually, I think we'll tackle we're going to start on the log here and then see if we can do the big tree as well. We'll see what we have time for. I shall be back. Okay, so I'm using my combo book to try and figure out a combination for the bark. That is the part that I'm struggling with the most, because usually when it comes to trees, I stick to a combination dark and rich like this. But I don't want the trees to blend into her. I want her to really pop out from the background. So I'm really struggling with tree colors here. I'm thinking something a little bit more red hued, because it's very different than from any of the colors that we have in here. And it should hopefully kind of tie in the red of her outfit as well. So we already have red tones in the page. So I'm thinking this right here, although it's not quite dark enough for me, so I probably would add a little bit of the burnt umber in it, or dark umber, whichever it is, I'm not sure. I'm hoping that'll be okay. Let's grab those colors and we'll kind of see and find out, I guess. Okay. Let's get this stuff out of the way. So I think I figured out a solution. Instead of using the dark umber, we're going to use espresso. So it's very similar, but won't completely match, which is what we need. So I'm just gonna kind of block in around the shadows here with the espresso. So I definitely want the entire kind of bottom side of this log to be in shadow. So we want to make it look round. I'm just gonna roughly fade that up. I come up along this branch here. Okay, it's kind of like that. Let's bring this in a little bit darker now. It's going to be really dark along the bottom, so we're going to go full strength there. And then fade it up. And I'm kind of going at an angle here, if you notice. And that should hopefully help our kind of rounded shape here. And then I do want it a little bit dark at the top, but it doesn't have to be quite as dark on the bottom. Or as on the bottom, I should say. Do want it to be dark on either side of this here, and then fade it in. And then I do want it to be really dark just along the bottom side of this branch, because I want it to look like it's kind of coming out from in behind here. Okay. It should be good. Let's move on to our next color. Actually, I'm not quite happy with my fading out here. I want to make it a little bit softer at the ends. Okay, hopefully that helps a little bit. So let's move in with the chestnut. I'm not sure if we're even going to use the chocolate. Let's just lightly go in with this. Let's see how it looks. Because this is kind of our red hued one, so we definitely want this in here, but I feel like this and the chocolate are very similar colors, just with different traits. This one's more red and the chocolate is more of like an orangish kind of brown. So I'm just not sure which one would come first. Okay, I like that. Let's come in with our, you know what, I don't even think we need the chocolate. Let's skip that. Let's come out with the burnt ochre. I think that would be next. So I'm just going to lightly go over everything that's uncolored thus far. We still gotta add the chestnut up here, but we'll just come in with the burnt ochre anyways. I'm not even sure we need the pumpkin orange either, but just gonna toss this down in the shadows and orangey up these browns a little bit, I think. Let's go back in with our espresso. I'm going to come out on these lines here, just kind of to the right. It doesn't really matter what side you outline though. Okay, we're going to fully block in our shadows down here, so just burnishing the very edges. There's a kitty. Well, yes, we go. I'm not feeding you, no. You already got your food. Sorry, lady. Okay, I like that. I'm back in with the chestnut. Let's bring this up. Burnishing as well and then fading it out. Let's also kind of touch this in on these darker bits here, just along these lines that we made. Well, that we accentuated. They were already there, so we didn't really make them. But burnt ochre. So we're going to bring this one out from the shadows, burnish it a little ways, and then fade it out. And we're still going to kind of color over the highlight a little bit with it though. That is actually really pretty. Okay, let's go in with the pumpkin orange over top of this, just lightly. And then we're going to go in with the eggshell, which I want to have a really sharp point on because I want to kind of use this to burnish the highlights. Okay, there we go. I like that. I think that might be one of my new favorite wood colors. It's different enough from her that she doesn't blend in, but it still looks like wood, which is awesome. Okay, I'm gonna pop these colors in here as well. So I want to do 2 more things in this part, and that is her eyes. Let's just do 3 more things. Her eyes, her lips, and the harpoon. That way in the next part, all we have left is this, the hill, and her skin. And then final touches, because the final touches always take longer than I anticipate for. So I'd rather anticipate for a longer part and have it a little bit shorter than anticipate it to be short and have it super long. So let's just pause, we'll grab some colors for those, and then that will be the end of part 4. So I shall be right back. Okay, I think I got all the colors we need. So we're gonna start with her lips, I think. They're gonna be super quick and simple. They're gonna match her clothes. So we're gonna come along the bottom lip with the black. That's literally all we're going to use there. Just a tiny little bit. We're going to go over it with the Tuscan red to turn it to a really deep red. I'm going to come just lightly along her upper lip. Just color the whole thing in with the Tuscan red. It's not completely burnished, but it's got a good coating on it. That's it for that one. Come in with the crimson red, which definitely needs a sharper point. Okay, so then we're going to burnish her top lip with this. We're going to burnish the shadows and just bring it up slightly. I don't know if it's catching on camera, but there's this tiny little white line. And that is where our poppy red is going to go. That in, blend it into everything. The lips are done. Very simple. So now I know that the red version of Aladdin, or Jasmine from Aladdin, was the inspiration for her. However, I do not want her to have brown eyes. I was actually thinking about doing green, but we were talking about this harpoon in one of the previous parts, and I was saying how I didn't really want to do it gold because I don't really want it to... If it wasn't resting up against her arm cuff here, I would do it gold, but yeah, I don't really want to have them blend into each other. So what I'm gonna do is let me grab my Metamorphia book here. Where is he? My Cyclops here has this really gorgeous blue metal look to him. So we're going to do that, and then we're also going to make her eyes kind of that same color too. Hopefully, I'm following my gut here, so hopefully this ends up well. Okay, so let's start with the Mediterranean blue. I'm going to bring this along the very left edge, all the way down the shaft of the arrow here, or spear I guess this would be. I'm going to try and make it as sort of like for as straight as I can. So maybe shadow it off a little bit underneath her hand there, because I feel like that would be casting a shadow. Keep coming down, trying to keep it in a straight line. It's harder than it looks. It's okay if it's off a little bit. And then along this side here. We'll bring it up. Maybe let's shadow in the bottom part there too. Okay. We might as well, no, we're not going to touch her eyes quite yet. We're going to wait. Okay, so next in with the Blue Violet Lake. I'm going to go in over top of the Mediterranean blue, and I'm going to fade this out a little bit, trying to shave a very thin white line all the way along the right side of the spear. We're going to bring this in like that. Okay, and then we're going to burnish everything with the sky blue light, and that'll hopefully give us kind of like a bluey metal look. And then we'll add highlights later on in the next part to kind of help with the metal look of it. It'll make it look shiny. I like that. I knew I wanted to have the arrow a different color than gold, but I felt like having it just that color and nothing else, even though it does kind of tie in with her hair, but I'm second guessing myself. Okay, let's see here. Let's go in with the Blue Violet Lake. You don't have to do this, I'm testing here, so maybe just wait a second. Let's just lightly color these in, because we can change the color if we need to. I think she'd look good with blue eyes. Let's carry on with it. Okay, let's just gonna finish her pupil here. And let's fade this down, add in a little bit more color. So we're going to fade it like halfway down. For her eye though, we're going to add the violet blue. Let's see, I always like the idea of adding like little lines into their eyes, but I'm like always worried about doing that. Let's go out of our comfort zone here, why not? I like that. Still gonna do what I usually do and kind of darken up right underneath her eye though. Darken those up a little bit. I think, should we skip the no, we need the Mediterranean blue. So let's go in with that first. So bring that down from the violet blue. Fade it out. I'll go in with the blue violet. And then let's burnish everything with our sky blue light. Oops. I don't know, she looks kind of creepy now, so let's color in her pupil here with the black. Probably also add black to the lines too. Let's see if we can do that. Make it really sharp. So I kind of concentrate them closer to the center though. I'm not going to bring them out super far. There we go. I think I'm happy with that. And before I mess it, we are not going to touch it. Till next time. Okay. So let's zoom out so you can see my messy desk. No, just kidding. Oh, it does show. Cool. I didn't know I could do that. I can switch from wide to like normal coloring book mode. Good to know. Okay. So that is what we have so far. I am really super excited to finish her. We don't have too much left. As always, I hope you guys are enjoying, and I hope to see you guys in part 5, which will be the final part. All right, take care, guys. Bye.
One page